Is AOE finally debunked? After Isayama's interview, it certainly seems that way, but I will let you decide. This week, France was on fire when Isayama the GOAT came into town to attend the masterclass in the city of Angulum? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it with my accent, but people took a lot of great videos of him and the sketches he made for them. He also gave us some very interesting answers on a lot of topics in his interviews, and also a promise that made the fans go wild. So yeah, let's talk about Hajime Isayama in France. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Do you live in France and got to meet Isayama? Great. I'm not jealous at all. I'm not crying, you're crying. But seriously, Isayama got a very warm welcome, so thank you to everyone who was there and made him feel so special. The entire place was set to look like Attack on Titan, with several cool displays like this cardboard Eren, Armin and Mikasa watching Bert kick in the walls of Shiganshina. You could also find framed original sketches and first edition manga panels all around, showing some of Attack on Titan's unforgettable moments. And we all know there are a lot of them. In this adorable video, we see a group of girls welcoming Isayama with a loud Shinzu Sasageo. And of course, Isayama responded with a salute because he is awesome. I actually talked to this sweet girl in the comments and told her how much I love the reaction. And honestly, it's a good thing I wasn't there, because some of those sketches would have gone into my bag, along with Isayama. I will keep him in my basement. Write me some stories, Isayama. But anyway, it looks like he had a great time too. To some of the reporters, he told that he got a completely different vibe from his visit to France. He said people refer to him as an artist, which is very different from back in Japan apparently. According to him, back home his work is considered more as a product, and he never considered himself or his work as art. I think that is a cultural difference issue, and mostly because the manga market in Japan is enormous, so when there is a lot of competition, it becomes more commercialized. So maybe people outside of Japan can appreciate it, not more, but in a different way. Isayama also said he usually researches to see what people say about him and his work, and he also admits some of the criticism was harsh, but he said that he always listened to the readers and accept their opinions. But one of those comments stuck with him the most. Someone said that if the author will change his work because of criticism, he will stop reading his work. This is something I mentioned in my channel a few times and gave an example of a famous video game that was changed for the same reason. I felt that if a creator changes his story because some people don't agree with it, that means that the story's message wasn't strong enough to stick by. And if the message isn't strong enough, would I even want to read it? That is a question of integrity, and like I would not change a beautiful painting or a sculpture, I would also not change a story. They are all art forms and should be preserved the way they are. This is at least my opinion, and I am happy Isayama took the message to his heart. That was the first clue of an AOE debunk, but don't worry, there is more coming about that soon. On a light note, someone asked Isayama to reveal a secret no one knows. He revealed he had a great ping-pong rivalry with Tatsuya Endo, the creator of the manga Spy X Family, which was also his former assistant. Isayama admitted he was better than him, although he won their last match. Another popular question was his inspiration for Attack on Titan. Movies, books, graphic novels, and more that inspired him. Isayama has a lot of creation he talked about in the past, but here he mentioned a specific two: Watchmen and District 9. About Watchmen, I talked quite a lot on my channel on several occasions, especially Rorschach, who inspired the character of Levi, and Dr. Manhattan and the world conflict, which have lots of similarities to Attack on Titan, especially the ideas of a common enemy to unite the world and the necessary evil. If you haven't read it, you really should, because it has an incredible dark vibe. And for a change, the movie is a banger, and I still consider it as one of the best superhero movies out there. Isayama also mentioned he took a lot of inspiration from Game of Thrones and their dialogue. In his own manga, some moments has lots of dialogue, and Isayama was worried it won't be balanced enough. But since he found Game of Thrones, he tried to apply the way they did dialogue in his own work as well. And maybe that's the reason Attack on Titan doesn't have that specific Japanese vibe and tropes we usually get from anime. He was also asked about his early days of work. He said that back then he was more childish and slowly grew with his work over the years. He talked about how he saved the originals of his drawings and how the industry is slowly turning into digital art. In his early days, he had a single assistant helping him deliver the chapter monthly. And later he had between 12 to 15 assistants rotating around the month. That is the reason Isayama explains the improvement of quality in the panels. And yes, that improvement is noticeable. Every veteran manga reader can admit to that. Isayama continued to talk about his relationship with his former editor, how he argued with him at first, but later realized his advice was right and it helped him to shape the story and its various elements. But when he told Isayama he should change and improve his style, Isayama told him he thinks his style is charming and he stood behind it. He was also asked what was the most stressful moment in the manga for him, and I already knew the answer to that. A lot of people would think it was the final chapters, but Isayama was most stressed when he introduced the Marley arc. He said he was so nervous to introduce it because it was completely different from what his fans read for years. Isayama said he remembers how he made sure to make the design as different as possible, to give the sense of a new, completely new world, and that to emphasize how much Paradise was cut out from the world. I can absolutely understand that, because it was one of the biggest twists and scene changes in manga. I remember when I first read it. I didn't understand who all those people are, where are we, and what the hell is going on. In fact, back then manga readers took the time to understand this is 4 years into the future, simply because things happen faster in the anime. We also had to wait a long 9 chapters to see any of the scouts, and 9 chapters are 9 months. So yeah, I can understand why Isayama was so nervous. Fearing this cast and new environment won't satisfy the readers who are waiting for Mikasa to finally show up. That is a major switch of sets and I would have been terrified myself. One moment in particular made the entire room cheer. When Isayama was asked, what is next? He said that it is still not sure, but he may grab a pen and write down 15 manga pages. To be fair, he didn't specify they will be about Attack on Titan, but that didn't make the fans any less happy. Now, he didn't actually promise, but after the crowd went wild, Isayama said thank you and that he now feels obligated to do that. So yes, I would say we can expect that to come and I will keep you posted about it. There are also some tweets claiming Isayama said something about a possible Levi Ackerman spin-off. That I cannot confirm, so if anyone was there or heard it, please let me know in the comments, because this is going to be sold out yesterday. Seriously, who wouldn't read a complete Levi spin-off? But to move on to the AOE Debunk. Like a lot of interviews, Isayama is often asked about the differences between the manga and the anime. They asked him that again, and that was his answer. He said that sometimes there are things he is not happy with, so he goes to the production and asks them to fix things. He doesn't see the anime and final form as being different. For him, a manga is like a live concert, while the anime is a well-recorded and remastered version of that same concert, like a more arranged album, and that makes complete sense, and I will tell you why. An author of a book gets the privilege to go back to former chapters to fix things you didn't like before you publish the entire book. That way, you can be sure you sent out the best and most recent version you could. But that is not the case for manga artists, because they deliver their work weekly or, in Isayama's case, monthly. That means they need to be 10 times more organized in advance to know how this chapter will connect with another one 5 years into the future, for example. To remind you, this is a 12-year story, which makes it almost impossible to plan everything you wanted to your liking. And that is why Isayama decided to polish those parts when he got the chance, in the anime. And like it seems right now, he doesn't look at the manga and anime as different. And that just makes my AOC theory feel much more reasonable now. Not a different ending, but additional scenes, like I talked about in this video. So go watch it because I might be right about it after all. But who knows? You tell me, did Isayama convince you AOE is gone, or do you think there is still a chance for it? Let me know what you think, because I am really interested, and of course, everything I talked about here is only my speculations, so we will just have to wait and see. And that is all for this video of Isayama doing France, and I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in my next video and even sooner in the comments, but until next time, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts to all of humanity, inside and outside the walls.